Arsenal scored twice in injury time. Manchester United supporters are thrown to the gutter. How are you, Dino? I'm wearing the away kit. Mate, at what do you call it? At 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning, I was absolutely shattered and gutted losing that game in the way we did. After Garnacho's goal got disallowed, thought we had the winner. Buddy, we did have a long chat and a little heated one.
I love it. It's great, mate.
The morning. How you been, mate? On a Monday morning, because Mondays I'm getting sick of them.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Like, obviously coming off a long weekend for me. So, disappointing result and just the way it sort of all panned out at the end there. Like, obviously the high of Garnacho scoring and, fair to him, he finished it quite well, which surprised me because sometimes he sort of like shanks it a bit. But yeah, it's the highs and lows of football, and supporting a club like Manchester United, obviously we've been a lot of highs late on in matches and stuff like that. So, it comes and goes. But obviously, millimeters in it from the angles that we saw. And, it's people are still debating it. Who knows? It doesn't matter now. Like, it's over. Those sort of calls go your way throughout the season. They sort of even up in that. So it's just more disappointing, I think, like the way we sort of played that match. Like, I don't think we played too bad, but I think we also, we sort of beat the press and then we'd like go back to the keeper as where we'd already beaten the press and stuff like that. And obviously when Hojlund came up, he had a presence up top and you could actually trust him and play him the ball, and, he would actually have a crackers where when Martial was on, you sort of, you boom the ball up just for the sake of it. You're not going to win anything from them. So, 2:00 in the morning, having a good chat with you and the boys. It's, it's interesting to see everyone's views, and especially at like that hour, you're not thinking right. And, you're just trying to concentrate on staying awake. And,
let's look at the lineup.
Crazy.
Let's look at the lineup to start with, because I don't want to go over what everyone else does on their pod. I want to talk about it from the way we actually see it through the game, okay? So we've got Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Martinez, Dalot, Casemiro, Eriksen, Anthony, Fernandes, Rashford, Martial, Hojlund on the bench, Reguilón. Is that how you say his name? You got the other keeper. Reguilón, Bay Dior, Maguire, Evans, Palestri, Gore. I didn't even realise Gore was on the bench. You got Hannibal and Garnacho. So it was good to see a couple of the young boys in there on the bench, because I didn't really see the bench. The first thing I questioned, why is Martial starting again? I don't understand why Hojlund never started. So that was the first thing that went through my head. But you soon switched off to that once the game kicks off, because like you said, it was a 1:30 kickoff. And I generally get up at about 1:45 and then have a quick look at it. And next thing it's kickoff. So look, I'm going to try and pretend I'm not a Manchester United supporter for a second. I actually thought it was a good game. I quite enjoyed the game. Well, it's hard to split that. I did enjoy the game. It was a good game. I thought United defended well in the first 25 minutes. I thought we held Arsenal out. But as a United supporter, I was really worried about the way we built up the game and stuff like that. I'm really struggling with Onana having so many touches of the ball. I don't fully understand. Look, mate, I've been around football a long time, and I get it. I get the new way of playing is building up and shit like that. But I do have a problem with, and you just said it, is that long ball. If we're going to build up, we're going to build up correctly. I don't want to see Onana hit the ball long. Well, I was counting them off to you, wasn't I? I think it was 4, 5, 6 times we put our front three under pressure into a 50-50 ball from Onana, and it's just pointless build-up. Like, if we're going to have a midfield there, come and receive the ball. And Casemiro was coming to receive the ball at times, but then it'd just go straight back. At times we would break their front three, which was good, because towards midway into the first half, their front three realised that they're probably not going to shut us down. So then they started getting good passing ranges and stuff like that. I really have a problem how much Onana is involved in the game. I really do. I don't know if that's the case. Onana should be the player that's on the most money in our team if we're going to be building our game around him, because that was just driving me nuts.
Yeah, well, as I said, like we would beat the press actually quite comfortable, and then it'll go to Casemiro, Eriksen, and then they'll just knock it back to either Dallo, Wan-Bissaka, or whoever, and then it'll just go back to the keeper. So I'm with you on like the too many touches by the goalkeeper. Like I think once you beat the press, you go for it. Like you know what I mean? It's like, in futsal when they're pressing, you just go for it. And I think that's what we have to do. And credit to Wan-Bissaka and Dallo, because I thought that actually they were our two best players on the night. And obviously Dallo is playing in a bit of a foreign position there, but I thought Wan-Bissaka handled Martinelli quite well and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, like that midfield. Yes, is Casemiro past it? Like, because I know Eriksen made that run for the goal and stuff like that, but apart from that, I didn't see Eriksen run at all. Bruno was too busy whinging to the referee, rolling around on the ground and trying to call every foul possible. And we just need someone in there that's a tough nut, and that's what Amrabat is. And I just hope he brings in a big, like a leadership sort of role. Like he's captain Morocco on that before, and he's a tough nut, and he's obviously not the most valuable player in the world, but he does a job of one. So it's going to be interesting to see what Ten Hag does after the international break. He's obviously going to sit down and look at these first few games and see where it's all gone wrong, and hopefully Rasmus gets minutes for Denmark and comes back and he can start straight away. So what's worrying for me is, hey.
No, I was just going to say, like Rasmus, he's 6 from 6 with his country scoring goals. So he's got a good record with them. So it's really good.
Yeah, well, I just think he sort of, had that back injury and he sort of missed the end of preseason. So he obviously wasn't fit enough to play the whole match. But I just hope they come back from the international break and it's a bit of a eye-opener for all of them. And, obviously, I read today that Martinez has travelled with Argentina, so I'm not exactly sure what his injury was. Victor was sick, apparently, so hopefully those two aren't long-term. So that's a positive, because I really, at 3:00 in the morning, you really don't need Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire as your centre halves, especially when you've got a goalkeeper playing out like that. Like, it's just, that's just the start of the problems, like there's a lot more problems than on the field. So that's the thing.
Look, I thought on our counter-attack when we did score the goal with Rashford, that they really did open Arsenal up. But just before we scored, I think they had that air swing. I forget who it was.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Havertz.
Kete? Oh, was it Havertz?
Nothing of Havertz. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that air swing. So we were lucky there. And then Martinez got a good touch on that to go out wide. Look,
and Onana did that save with his knee as well.
Yeah.
I think that was before that sort of thing. So it's just it's difficult to say. Like, obviously there's just issues throughout the whole club. Like, and you've been like a worker in any organization, when you've got that dysfunction there, it obviously affects you. Like, I know these guys are paid millions and millions of dollars, but they're still human at the end of the day. So when it comes down to crunch, like, the place is an absolute mess.
Yeah. Look, on a whole, like, even with that game, like you're talking about Bruno, and I don't want to harp on about Bruno because I think we do enough of that. But you look at Odegaard. Odegaard steps up for his team. I'm yet to see that out of Bruno in a big game. In a big game, mate, he just goes, I'm not going to say he goes missing. I just think he tries to do too much. And then every time he's trying to do a lot, he just makes more and more mistakes, or he gets, I can't say he misplaced passes or anything like that, because I don't think he was on the ball enough. I thought, when he got chopped, I thought, that was pretty bad. Like, we were unlucky there. I don't know if that was a red. It was definitely a yellow when Saka did that. But I just think Bruno's trying to do too much. Just play your position again. Like, even he was getting in front of our forward line again. He's done it like 2 or 3 times. It wasn't up on the 18-yard as usual, but it was between probably halfway and the 18-yard. Just freaking hell,
It's
just
like
stay
he gets the
behind.
shits with Martial.
Yeah,
Like Martial doesn't press, so Bruno goes, "Oh, I'll have to press," and
yeah.
hopefully,
But
when Hojlund
unless
came
the
on,
team's pressing, unless the whole team is pressing, no one
hmm,
should be pressing, because that's how you
yeah.
get caught out through the midfield, and that's where it does me head in, that kind of stuff. It just, and
But
at
you
one
notice when
stage,
Hojlund came on, it was a lot different, like with all that sort of stuff, like
yeah,
the
I
pressing and
definitely,
actually,
yeah.
you can feed him the ball, and you saw him with one-on-one battles and stuff like that. Martial doesn't offer any of that. Martial receives the ball, passes it back, passes to Rashford, like that's it. There's no like running at
Yeah, but
defenders,
you know
using his
what? To
body
his
and all that.
credit today, Martial was dropping in defense as well. But that's not where we want our number 9.
No,
Like
that's right, exactly.
it's just bullshit. Like, so it
Yeah.
just shows how much space there is in behind. Look, I don't know if Bruno's got a free role, but he certainly doesn't play a role that's familiar to me. Like, if he's playing a 10 role, I want you in behind the attacker. And even if Martial's not probably the man that you want there, but he does it even with Rashford there. So I don't know. Look, I was irritated to the max. I even went out on a limb with you and I started blaming Onana and shit like that, like, which probably was the wrong thing to say. But, I always look at the goalkeepers and, on that first one that they scored, what, 25 seconds, man. 25 seconds we're talking about. And I know that's
Yeah.
not his fault. I know that's not his
Yeah.
fault. Our players have got to be switched on. And it's not the first time that's happened to us. We go and score a goal. 25 seconds later, we go and cop one. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's Onana's fault, but what I'm trying to point out is everyone, and I did put shit on De Gea at times, but only when he made major mistakes. Only when he made major mistakes. But this guy, in my opinion, as a person that I believe, I know goalkeeping pretty well, I believe he's not mobile. I don't think he's mobile. Like, even when he's come from one side to the other, because it started out on, let's say, it was on their left-hand side, and the ball came back across. I thought he was very slow getting across, and it was so obvious that Odegaard was going to get the ball. He's got his hands up and everything, and it's not unusual for Odegaard to get his hands up into that area there and hit the shot from there. And I know our centre halves probably should have done better, or Delo should have been tucked in, but he was probably worried about Saka. But I think Saka was inside at the time. I can't really remember. And I just thought Onana was very slow to get across. I thought he was caught out of position. He didn't overread the play. I thought he was just slow getting across his line. Not that I thought he was going to save it, but I just thought. And then the second one, he didn't even get a hand to it, and it was poor on the poor marking, obviously. But it's come straight off the post, man. Straight off the post into the back of the net. He's marking his near post,
Is
and
that the deflection one? Are you talking about?
yeah, it deflected
Yeah.
onto the post. It
Yeah.
deflected straight onto the post. And like, if he had movement back the other way, then yes, I would go, yes, he's got switched out to the other side. It's obvious that he wasn't going to get that. But it went straight onto the post, and he's completely mistimed the ball. And it just, those reaction speed times, look, maybe it's because he's come from Italy or something like that. I don't know. But man, you got to wake up quick, because if you want to put a kid on, go put a kid on. But I need a goalkeeper for mine. I need a keeper. And I just don't believe he's doing the job that we need in goals. I believe goalkeeper, like we talk about Wan-Bissaka getting forward and we want a defender before we want somebody attacking. Well, I want a goalkeeper before I want someone being able to play out with his feet and stuff like that. That's just my opinion. I just don't see it working. It'd be interesting to see when he goes and plays in the African nations and this other goalkeeper comes in to see the difference. Because
Well, I
you
think
see,
we'll see him before that. I think he'll play the cup games, to be honest.
yeah,
Because I've seen him. He's a big boy, like, and obviously you only see the highlights and they're good stuff and all that. But he's a really good shot stopper. But
yeah,
I think also, like, I don't think Ten Hag would have got rid of De Gea this season if it was his choice.
yeah,
Like, I think like obviously what happened with the Glazers and all that contract stuff, he didn't really have a choice, did he? So then he's gone and got someone that he knows and sort of trusts, and obviously playing at Ajax and all that. And I just think it will take. I know he's played in Italy and played Champions League final and all that, but the Premier League's a different beast in general. So we can only hope that he gets better and improves and stuff like that. So um, I've got bigger worries than him, to be fair. Like,
Oh,
You
mate,
know,
look, I totally
injuries are
agree
a
with you.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah,
like injuries are a problem.
I agree, but
Yeah,
it's just that little thing that you know, me and goalkeepers. I just like to
yeah,
see goalkeepers. I talk about goalkeepers all the time. Yeah, look, I've got to give Arsenal credit because they worked out a game plan on behalf. Like when they stopped pressing us, when they stopped pressing us, they worked out how to get the ball again. I actually thought at one stage I thought we had 65% of the ball. We had a lot of the ball. Second half, when they came back and scored, I just thought we went into that little bit of a hole. But the second half, I thought we were a better team second half. And then what do you call it? And then we went into a hole. Look, I cannot say that we were crap. We weren't
no,
bad.
no,
We weren't
no,
bad. It was I'm not going to sit here and bag our team because we weren't bad. We were actually defending really well. And I thought we're holding on. I actually thought we built again into the game. I actually thought we were the better side into the second half and things like that. So I'm not going to sit here and just bag the side up, but then I'm going to look at Arsenal as well. I just thought they were really crucial. I thought they struggled when Hojlund came on. Like he was big, aggressive, fast. I was so impressed when he came on. I was spewing that they did not look at that penalty shout. Like, what is that shit, man? Seriously. He's got in behind
well,
the
surely
player.
they looked at it. They would have looked at it. They look at everything. It's just the fact
You
that
would hope so. You would hope they
did the
looked
ref
at
make a major mistake? Like, you know, coming from that, like, you know, when it was Havertz went through our defenders and he hit into our defenders, like it's either a penalty or it's a dive.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's the other one.
it's either one, like, you know, and
Yeah,
you know, and there was a time there where Saka, he was on the yellow card for the Bruno challenge, and then he went into the box and dived.
yeah.
Like that's a second yellow. You see, like there's, you know, and as I said before, like these things, you know, you get some, you don't. They sort of even out throughout the season and that. But you know, it's a big 2 weeks for those players that aren't going on international duties, and you know, to impress Ten Hag, you know, we saw, as you say, youngsters on the bench like Palestri, you know, Garnacho, Hannibal, Gore. Like, you know, I love what Hannibal does in a football team, and you know, he's obviously not Bruno Fernandes, but you know, that guy puts a challenge in, he
Well,
tries,
I
and
beg the
you know what I
question.
mean? Like, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, you look at Bruno's stats, and
I
you know, you
know.
can't argue that you know, he does what he does. But
But
you
it's
know,
funny, you know.
I
I had that.
honestly thought this year, but like Ten Hag would have changed his system a little bit and had two like number 10s and then
Yeah,
Casemiro. So it's going to be interesting to see when Amrabat comes in, if he does that and plays Mount and Bruno, and then Amrabat, you know, obviously not for all the games, but it'll be interesting to see. And you know, I actually forgot about Garnacho sitting on the bench, to be honest, because I kept saying to me, mate, oh, I've been Palestri on, you know, like for Anthony
yeah.
Palestri, you know, and then Garnacho walks on, like, oh yeah, I forgot about that kid. So, you know, I'd like to see Palestri get more chances, and obviously he's been promised or talked about getting more chances because he hasn't gone out on loan. And you know, hopefully you see players like Gore. You got Kobe Manu, who hopefully will come back after the international break, and pretty much after that international break, it's like games because you got Champions League and other cups. So you know, every player should get their opportunity, and they've just got to take it with both hands, because in the past we've seen players not take that opportunity. So, and Ten Hag's been pretty ruthless with the youngsters in the club this transfer window. We've seen so many being shipped out, and yeah, he obviously wants standards there, and he's picked his youngsters that he wants to stay.
Look, I just want let's talk about the subs, man. Let's like you've got when I saw Martinez coming off and Maguire was lining up. I've got to admit, I had my, and I'm not going to sit here and bag Maguire. Look, the Arsenal fans were cheering, the loudest cheer all day. They were cheering when Maguire came on, and it's a poor bloke. He can't take a trick, and you know, look and like you said, we've got that many issues to finish off with Maguire and Johnny Evans in our defense. It's fucking devastating. We're in what,
Do they
2023
win the league together
at
at
Leicester?
Leicester?
No,
Yeah.
Maguire left before they
That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
Maguire
Yeah, just checking.
yeah, Maguire left the year
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
To be honest, like that's, you know, again, like they were forced, like he had to make those changes, and you know, they're the only two on the bench, really. You know, Eric
No, they'll
Bailly's, who
definitely
knows where
force
he is. Like,
changes.
yeah,
They'll force changes, but it's just the luck that we've got. Like we've got owners now that are just fucking saying that, oh no, we're not going to put the place up for sale. You see our bench, like And look, there's some really good names in there, and like the younger ones and stuff like that. And
but if you're
the
Chelsea or
depth is
City,
horrific.
You go and buy another $50-60 million defender. Like City won the treble last year, man, and they've brought better players than what they had. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that they got that Croatian defender. Kovacic is a great central midfielder. They lose Silva and they put Alvarez starting now, and then they go and buy that Jeremy Doku for 80 million. Like we're at the stages where when we're buying players, it's to improve our starting 11. They're buying players to improve their whole squad. So, we get a couple of injuries and we're fucked. So, and we can't rely on the kids because he's proven that he's not going to throw those kids straight into the deep end, and I couldn't even tell you who won the kids. Oh, Reece Bennett, I know, is a centre half. I think Will Fisher's gone back on loan. So I don't even know who you put in there, to be honest. I mucked around with my mate about Scott McTominay, where he plays for Scotland. So, you don't know.
Yeah. Look, I even thought at the back end of the game, even before, I think it was just after Garnacho was called offside, which I didn't even understand that. Look, I'm not saying it's not offside because my initial feelings when Garnacho scored was he was offside because I didn't even celebrate it. Because when Rashford scored, I celebrated like I was jumping. But when Garnacho scored, I thought, oh, geez, this is going to be tight, blah, blah, blah. But, the VAR angle that they gave the public from behind, that is just ridiculous. It is, and I thought it's where the feet are, the new rule that came in. What is that new rule?
It's the scoring body, like.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's the top of the shoulder. You can score a goal with, you can score with your head and all that.
Right.
And that's how they do it. But as you say, like, I thought they were taking the minimal shit away from.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought if it looked like it was 50-50, they were going to just go with the attacking team. And I'm 100. And I even read that today.
For City. But you look at the goal for City, like an offside defender in front of the keeper.
Yeah. Oh.
And they scored and they gave it. And even Haaland was laughing about it, And I'm pretty sure Chelsea or Liverpool, one of them was the same. It's just like, you got a defender standing in front of the keeper. How is that not interfering?
Yeah. Like I'm telling you, look, I've got to be honest with you though. If that was counted that goal, right? I think we walk away with a draw. I don't believe we win the game. I don't believe we win the game because how many times have we done that? We've scored with that many minutes to go, and then it's ended up a draw. I got to tell you,
but I also think like you look at Arsenal, who they didn't spend money for quite a few years, and then the last couple of years they spent money. Like they brought on substitutions that improved the squad. Improved
definitely.
Garnacho came on for Anthony. That improves it, does it, or it doesn't, or it's just the same. But then you bring Johnny Evans and Maguire on, but they're not the same as Victor and Martinez. So
that's right.
There was one stage there where Wan-Bissaka grabbed his hamstring, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is all we need."
Oh bottom right hand corner.
I was like, I was just like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, I remember that. I did think the same thing. Yeah.
But I just hope I'd love to see like a Kobe Manu with Amrabat and Hannibal as a 3 and just try something different because obviously Bruno's played like every game. Like I can't even remember when he had a break. Like I think he missed one game last year or 2 games, and I just like to see something different, especially in the League Cup. Like he went from all last year's where this year I don't think we can. With the squad that we have, even though we've brought players, we don't have the squad depth to concentrate on that. And finishing top 4, which is, I hate to say, is a lot better than winning the League Cup. Like so I think he has to rotate that thing, and like all players fit in that. We actually have a decent squad, but because we're getting so many injuries, like you look at left back with Shaw and Malacia, now we're going to have Rennie on like 3 left backs, and then you have Dello one. We've actually got a bit of cover there now, but every player has to be fit and pushing each other to be at their best because the injuries are killing us at the moment.
Well, mate, Arsenal had I'm just reading here, 12 corners to our 3. So it just shows how much Arsenal.
That was Martinelli cutting down the wing and Wan-Bissaka tackling.
Yeah.
So, but
no, look, I enjoyed that battle between those two. And I've got to admit, I was really nervous for Wan-Bissaka. Like that battle, I was really nervous for. It wasn't so much. It's funny, I wasn't worried about Saka with Delo, but Wan-Bissaka and Martinez, it was good. Martinez was trying to cut inside everything like that. Not Martinelli, sorry. And I actually thought Wan-Bissaka did a fantastic job on him. So it was really good. Wan-Bissaka was probably, and like you said, Delo was probably my two man of the matches for the game. I just want to touch on Rashford when Hojlund came on. There was a stage there when Rashford broke away down that left-hand side, and Hojlund was actually two players across. It was actually by himself, and there was another player just on the other side of him. I think Rashford's going to have to start learning to not go himself. He went through a period like that a couple of years ago where he thought he had to do everything himself, cut in and do score like he did today. But now he's got a 9 that can actually find himself in good positions. And to Hojlund's credit, he actually put his hands up and actually gave him a little bit of stick, which was good. He's going to have to get those two are going to have to work on that.
Well, I think Rashford obviously hasn't had a proper number 9 there for a long time, if ever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw Casemiro. I think it was the first corner when Hojlund was there. Was revving him up, and that's the sort of stuff you like to see and all that. And Hojlund in that 25 minutes that Hojlund was on, he showed me a lot, and he's quite quick as well.
He's quick. Yeah.
He's obviously those sort of combinations will come, and that's what I'm saying. Like we need to get everyone fit, playing. You'll have your starting 11 that he's going to play every match in the Premier League, and those players have to try and earn that spot in the starting 11 because, we're you look at that midfield now and it's pretty flooded. Like you got, there's really no excuses really. Like it's, it's a decent midfield now, like with all the players there.
Look, look, we haven't got off to a better start now than last year. So last year we finished third. So look, we really need to turn things around. Come after this international break, and like I said,
I think teams have also improved though from last year. Like like I watched that Brighton Newcastle match, and
they're our first game back. They're our first game back.
Yeah,
and
and you got Ange Ball at Tottenham now. Like and I used to joke around with my mates like saying, Ange at United would be great because I know what he's like. Like,
mate, before we got Eric Ten Hag, I said it on a pod. About, it might have been this one. I said it. Look, we're looking for every other club goes and gets unknown coaches, and I mentioned Ange, and no one knew who he was, and I said, look, this guy's a born winner, blah blah blah. I said we might as well go get him because everyone else does it, and I was semi-serious, but I knew United wouldn't go get him. But but we ended up with Eric Ten Hag, and I'm not going to sit here and bag Eric. Look, at times I think he's been pushed under the pump just because of things like today, with injuries and stuff like that. But look, let's talk about. We're not going to do what's new in the cave today. I want to talk about move on to Sancho and Eric Ten Hag. It wasn't bad enough that we lost. Straight after that, Sancho decides to take it upon himself to let everyone know, don't believe everything you read. He's been the scapegoat for Eric Ten Hag. He's basically saying, all because Eric came out and said the reason why Sancho isn't playing is because he's been poor at training. He hasn't been up to standards. Things like this for me need to be kept in-house. Like, it's so wrong on both players' behalf in both situations. Eric Ten Hag could have just said he was sick or, he's missing it for some other reason. He didn't have to come out and say, go and put Sancho, embarrass the guy. Look, we don't know the full state of what Sancho was up against last year. We don't know whether it was mental issues or maybe it was a combination of this, what's been going on behind closed doors. But to come out and say he's not training well, for me, I didn't like it when Mourinho did it, and I don't like it if Eric Ten Hag does it. I said, and on the other side of it, I don't want Sancho coming out and putting it all through social media, whoever advised him or whether he took it upon himself, he should be tomorrow or today for them, knocking on his door saying, what the hell's that all about? Why are you bringing it out in the press? What do I need to do? Man to man, mate. Just talk it out. That's what they used to do with Fergie. Fergie used to go in there. They used to knock on his door, ask what was happening. You know, I never got to see a lot of Fergie's press conferences because we're living here. But I cannot remember a time where someone can tell me where he's called a player out in the media or something like that. But you listen to all the podcasts from all the ex-players, they all say they went and knocked on his door whenever they got a hairdryer or something like that. You know, that's just such poor form by both people, and it's so immature by both Eric and Sancho. One of them had to man up in that situation, and neither of them did.
Yeah, well, you know, you're 100% correct with it. Should have stayed in house, and you know, we don't know what the actual big issues are in the club, and you know, it's obviously not just with Sancho. You know, like I'm telling you now, if he didn't train better than Martial, well, there's big issues there. So it's
yeah, you're 100% right.
But like just with like, you know, I know it's preseason. People say it's preseason. They're trying to get their fitness and that, but we were horrible in that preseason, right? We were absolutely horrible. And Sancho played as a false nine, you know, did all that. We get to round one, we're shit. Sancho's nowhere to be seen as a false nine, you know. He plays Rashford there. You know, it's just what was in preseason. It was like it was all forgotten for round one. You know, like for me, a preseason is yes, you're getting fitter, but you're also trying to work on things, combinations and that. So everyone knew that Rashford is not a proper number 9. He's always better out in the wide. And so I don't understand why we didn't start Sancho as a 9 in that first round, in the second round, in the third round, you know, until Hojlund got fit. Because for me, if you're going to do it in the preseason, and our best preseason match was the Arsenal match where Sancho played as a 9, I don't see why you don't go the season, like at least start the season like that, because, you know, that preseason, it was horrible.
I actually think Sancho's been good. When he's come on for us off the bench, I actually think he's been good. I don't look. I'm not saying he's breaking United apart and we're winning big games because of him, but he's showing a shitload more than Martial. You know what I mean?
Right. Mate, we show more just texting at 3:00 in the morning. But you know, with you know, people say it's the price tag. He didn't ask for it. Blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, like he could have stayed at Dortmund.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, and just sat there, and you know, but he wanted to come back to the Premier League, prove himself. He was at City.
It's been a shit show ever since he's got back.
Yeah, but not just that. Like, you know, when we got, you know, that transfer went on for 3 years. It wasn't just like, we're going to go get him.
Yeah, that's
but like with Anthony's the same. Like when you're spending that much money on a player, you're expecting them to impact the play, impact the team, give the team a lift and all that. And I just don't see it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, Amrabat will come in. He's on loan technically, 8 million, whatever it is, and you'll see a difference. Where these other players that are on these massive money, it's like they think to themselves, "Oh, we've made it now. We don't have to work hard." Like you watch Amrabat get stuck in. Yeah,
that list that Shane sent the other day. Holy shit, man! Look, I don't want to get too deep, but there's only 4 minutes to go.
You know what I mean?
So
yeah, but it's just like, you know. And to be fair, Anthony did all right last night. I'll give him that. But
no, he's been good, man. Last 2 games, he's been good. I've been really encouraged by him. So, and I'm the first one to give him a spray. So,
but you know, like just you said it then, the last few games, like as a player on that amount of money, he's played for Brazil. That you expect that to be more consistent, you know. And you know,
he should be scoring. He's still not getting away with. He still should be scoring without a doubt. He still be beating a player on the top of the 18-yard box. He needs to be beating players like Rashford and putting cutting the ball back and shit like that. But that's not happening.
Like you look at the goals that Rashford scored last season. Yeah. If he had another bad season and only got 10, where would we have been? Like,
that's it. Yeah.
Honestly, like it's just crazy. But anyway, we've got an international break. My heart can rest for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously we'll get on about ownership and stuff like that during the international break, and what another circus that is.
Well, mate, it was good to get a bit off our chest because I was fired up this morning, and And it is tough getting up at that time. And look, it's a credit to all United supporters in Australia that do get up at that time and watch the games, because it is tough. But you know what? We'll leave it there. We've had our rant, because that's what it was all about. The Salvo, it was all about just having a rant. And you know, to my daughter's boyfriends, to their credit, they haven't given me much stick. George actually sent me an emoji with a smiley face, and I know he had training.
I hope he took his present away.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe it. Oh, mate.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
would have loved
all good, buddy.
the draw. But anyway,
yeah.
Good on you, Dino.
It's all good.
I'll talk to you later. See you later. Check ya. Remember to like, share, subscribe too, people. See ya. Check ya.